How do you gain an edge in a weak field event? I've got that and more about the John Deere Classic this week at TPC Deere Run. And if you stick around to the end, I got you covered with some LIV Golf Tour Round 1 Showdown content as well. My 4 favorite plays for that. But you got to stick around to the end. Here we go. What is up, everybody? We are back this week in the Midwest, coming back to my area. Let's go in the Quad Cities region down in Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin kind of area there at TPC Deere Run for the John Deere Classic. Honestly, this is a really fun event. I like it every year. People are going to complain and talk about how the event is, it's not as strong. The field's not as strong. I love this. You get guys like Michael Kim, life-changing win. Goes on and misses 58 cuts in a row after winning the John Deere Classic. It's a birdie fest. There's lots of scoring. It's I think Deere Run's a fun course to watch on TV. You got to make birdies here, and that's something different, especially considering what we've seen the last couple of weeks on tour at some of these harder golf courses. The last week wasn't too hard. But it's a fun way to get ready for the next 2 big weeks when we head overseas to the Scottish Open next week, which is a co-sanctioned DP World Tour and PGA event, and then the Open Championship. So 2 weeks over in Europe, which I am excited about. But we get to look at some different names. We get to see some old big names. It's an interesting week, and I really think there's an edge in how you can build this week. And we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. First, we'll do the course preview. We'll get you an idea of what kind of golfer can be successful here. Talk a little bit about roster construction. And then I'll give you my LIV Tour core plays for the week for Round 1 Showdown. DK kind of came out of nowhere with the LIV Golf Tour Showdown contest this week, and the contests are pretty strong. So we're going to give you guys some content for it, but you got to stick around to the end for that. Before we move on and talk about the John Deere Classic, there's your boy Lucas Glover. He won. His wife didn't beat him up afterwards. This video, right? I said it last week. 1,000 views. 1,000 views. Anybody that likes this video, if it gets to 1,000 views, I will pick one person from the likes. I'll do a random on the next video and send you $25 cash money, Venmo, Cash App. I'll send you a check in the mail. I don't care, whatever you want to do. But it's got to get to 1,000 views, right? So we're putting this out on Monday. 1,000 views by Thursday. We were close last week. We got to keep this momentum going here. Give me to 1K, baby. Let's go. Big shout out again to our boy Johnson. Can't believe it. $100,000 in Showdown 2 weeks ago at the US Open. Just really crushed. Again, if you want to become a DFS Army DIP, you can use the code UpNorth for 10% off for life. Our boy Ty Sly. Look at this ROI. I mean, he had like $50 in play last week and came out with 1,163. Insane ROI. Crushed it last week. Use that code UpNorth. That gives you 10% off. All right. TPC Deere Run, the JDC. We're talking about a par 71 here, 7,289 yards. That actually has gone up a little bit over the last couple of years. They've tried to lengthen the course as much as they can to make it a little tougher, but it's still not that hard of a course. We've got wide fairways, decent sized greens, 5,500, so it's a little bigger than what we've played the last couple of weeks. Bunkers, water hazard, not really a big deal. There's a par 3 that if you kind of yank it, you can get in trouble in the water there, but we don't see a lot of big numbers here. Bent grass greens, bent grass in the fairways, Kentucky bluegrass of fescue in the rough 4 inches. Again, the fairways here are pretty wide. What we see at this event every single year is that the average is guys hitting 70% of fairways and 70% of greens. That is the average golfer here, which is kind of crazy. And what that tells you is that this course is pretty easy. We see an average cut line of around -2, average winning score of around -21. Like I said, 73% average green regulation hit each day. We see guys, I think Glover was over 80% last year. New bunkering this week. They've completely, you can see the old bunkers in the background there, but they've completely redone the bunkering. New lips. They've made them a little bit deeper, but they've also actually kind of shrunk the area, I think almost by 30% on all the bunkers on the course. So they've strategically kind of moved them around, made it so that in an ideal world that the course plays a little bit easier, or a little bit, not easier, a little bit harder, and you got to make some competition decisions with some of these bunkers in terms of what club you are going to hit off the tee. That's what they have said in their, the golf course superintendent's guide. I don't think it's going to make a huge difference, but maybe we see it play a little bit harder. Small greens, 5,500 is a little bit bigger than what we've seen lately, but you do need to scramble here. That's one thing that when looking at winners here in the past, what they've done well is guys have got up and down when they aren't hitting greens. You just can't afford to make bogeys here. With the winning score being an average of -21, you can't afford to make bogeys. The last couple of weeks, we've seen a lot of approach numbers in that 150 to 200 range. We actually are under that this week. We get lots of flip wedges, right? So anything under 150 yards, just because of you can kind of take some corners here. It's not that hard of a course, like I said. So you're going to see a lot of 100-yard lob wedges, things like that. But really, what I found in my research for TPC Deere Run is that year after year, it's not the guy who hits the ball the best off the tee. It's not the guy who hits the best approach shots. It's not the guy who scrambles the best. It's the guy who putts the best. That's really what it comes down to. So it's an interesting tournament in that putting is actually kind of predictive here. And now I'll say this. It's predictive in a sense that guys who putt well do well here. Right? You got guys like Steve Stricker, Zach Johnson, local guys, but have had a ton of success here because they've got good short games, right? But anybody at the PGA Tour level can get hot with the putter for a week. So just because a guy's not, a good putter, doesn't mean that you can't play him. So you look at Lucas Glover winning last year. Is Lucas Glover a good putter? No, the guy's almost worse than Lexi Thompson from within 5 feet, right? But he got it done here last year, gained over 3 strokes, almost 3 strokes putting, I think. So it's interesting, right? Again, Glover won at -19 last year. Was one of the only guys that was really good tee to green and putted well. There's lots of guys that were really good tee to green. They make a lot of putts, and they ended up 10th, 12th, 15th. Fratelli, -21. Made every single thing you looked at, right? Michael Kim. And again, Michael Kim is an unreal story, right? Won at -27, won by 8 strokes, which is insane. Like almost 4 strokes gain putting on the week. And went on to never make another cut. I think he made 1 cut in his 2-year exemption. This is where Bryson got his first win. If you look at the picture, that's skinny Bryson. That's not from here. But skinny Bryson did win here, and putted well over his baseline for the week and made a really big charge on Sunday. My boy P-Rod really not doing anything on Sunday. I think Bryson shot -8 and P-Rod shot -1, or Bryson shot -6 and P-Rod shot -1. And Bryson beat him in a playoff and then got into the Open Championship the next week. We had no event here due to COVID in 2020. But again, the common theme among the winners here is that they made everything they looked at, right? So we need guys who can putt. All right. And in my core this week, I really do think we've got some guys that either have A, been playing well, B, can putt, and C, have good history here. And then you look at the prices here, 89, 88, 87 on DK, 10-6, 10-7, 10-4 on FanDuel. With the pricing and the field strength this week, I think the edge that you can have in your lineup construction is to play guys in that middle of that balanced sort of build, avoiding, Webb Simpson's price at the top. Adam Hadwin's up there. And really, there's not a lot of guys in the 9K range this week, but just hammering this mid-tier and then looking for ownership value in that range, I think is an interesting strategy this week. Either that or going heavy stars and scrubs. So saying, you know what, I think the top guys are going to be good. I think Hadwin, I think Webb Simpson. I'm going to play all those guys, right? So that's kind of where I think the leverage is at this week for GPP lineups. But it starts for me with Scott Stallings. Played really, really well last week. And what Stallings does, you look kind of at his course, or he's played well here in the past, but you look at his history and where he's played well at, it's at easy courses, right? At tough courses, he struggles, right? Long off the tee, really good putter, good short game, decent iron player. Because he's only a decent iron player, that's why he struggles on those tough courses. So US Open, Brookline, you had to be an elite iron player. Stallings wasn't. He missed the cut, even though he's from there, right? So I think at 8,900, he's a guy that I am excited to play this week. And here's the deal. Somebody said in our Discord this morning, like, oh, that price. I get it, but price is relative, people, right? We've got to remember that price is relative to field strength, right? So Stallings at 89, like, makes sense and is an odds value there, really. P-Rod, former runner-up here, just playing some excellent golf. He's a guy who really did play well at the US Open, and that was because his iron play took a step up for the week. Always a good short game, really good off the tee. Typically struggles a little bit with his irons. So we know that we're going to get a guy who can putt. All right. That's really what I want to see this week, because I want to see a guy. I want to play guys who I know have good short games, or they have really good short games, or they're great off the tee. They can overpower this course. And P-Rod actually kind of checks both of those boxes for me. Nick Hardy, 8,700, playing outstanding golf this year so far. The last couple of weeks, he's been right in the mix. He's an Illinois guy, Mike Small. He's actually played this event twice as a college player and made the cut both times. And obviously coming back to a course he's very comfortable at. Priced up a little. I think people like him. He might end up getting a little bit high owned this week, but I'm going to have 30-40%. Get over the field here, easy. And then my final core play for the JDC is a guy who's coming back. We haven't seen him since the Players, but if you guys remember, earlier this spring, Taylor Pendrick was just automatic every single week. Tough course, easy course, didn't matter. Long off the tee, good putter, decent iron player. Guy's got a ton of game. Got hurt. He's been gone since the Players. So we haven't seen him since March, right? Agent, everybody said he's feeling better than ever. He's been practicing hard, ready to roll here. He's super excited to play this week. So we get a guy that if he'd been playing the last 3 months, I think he'd be 9,000 in this field, right? And had similar results. Actually, if he'd had similar results to what he's been doing, it actually might even be a little bit higher than that. But Pendrick at 7,300 is an absolute steal. Guy that I'm going like all in on. I get the risk. I get the idea that, it's his first tournament back. And that's sometimes the risk that you got to take. But the value here and the upside is outstanding on Taylor Pendrick. So these are my 4 core plays for the JDC this week. Like I said, I am super excited. If you want to access the rest of my cheat sheet, I break down all the viable plays, tell you where I'm going at ownership, tell you where I think there's leverage, tell you where, I think kind of how I want to see guys paired in my lineups, things like that. Access to all that. You can use that code UpNorth. That gets you 10% off a VIP membership. Gets you access to our optimizer, which has been rolling lately. You saw Ty Sly obviously using the optimizer to build lineups for those 20 maxes. Best in the business. Like I am so proud of what we do at DFS Army every single week. And I really do think that these are the weeks where we shine. These weeks where, and me personally, I think these are some of my best weeks, is where we got to dig in. You got to play guys like Taylor Pendrick. And you got to play guys like Steve Stricker and some of these older guys that are getting into the field and take some stands and maybe do some research on some of these guys that are not as good, and looking at the ownership and where we can make a play. So all that and more in my cheat sheets every week. Again, you want to access that, you can use the code DFSUpNorth for 10% off there. But now, interesting, we are going to the LIV Golf. It has been an interesting couple of months with guys jumping overseas to the LIV, taking in all this money, controversy about if they're actually getting paid or not from Brandel Chambly the other day. That's neither here nor there. We are interestingly getting DraftKings contests. I was thinking that, because of the DraftKings agreement with the PGA Tour as their sole provider of DFS sports or whatever, or their partnership, I wasn't sure we would get LIV Golf contests. It looks like last I saw, we just had round 1 Showdown up there. I'm checking on my phone right now to see if we've got anything else. The contests look decent. Nope, no full man, no snake drafts, but we are getting Showdown contests. So if that's the case, guess what, baby? We can make money. Here's the deal. I've been outspoken against the LIV Tour. They're the 54 Tour or whatever the hell they want to call it, right? I think that it is a money grab. I think that these guys are going to really struggle with their official world golf rankings. They're going to struggle to get into majors, especially guys like Matthew Wolff, who just jumped ship. But I'm not faulting them for making money, right? Like that's part of it. I have a personal issue with where it comes from. That's fine, but they got to make their money. And guess what? So do I. So if there's something that I can make money on, and I can help you guys make money on, then we're going to provide content for it. So on round one showdown plays. All right. Playing at Pumpkin Ridge over in Portland area. There's been a lot of controversy there. They've lost like a ton of members, and losing 40 plus members at $37,000 a year is not great, but apparently they're making up for it and more with hosting the LIV. So this is a course that Tiger Woods won his third U.S. Amateur at. It is a course where the Korn Ferry Tour played their last event before the finals. Your last chance to get into the top 25. And there actually are some guys here that have played this course before. So Abe Answer is a guy who was runner-up here a couple of years ago. He has made the jump to the LIV Tour. He's not been great. He's priced up, but course history, you gotta give him a little bit of an edge there. I think that this course is going to play very similar to what we see this week at the John Deere Classic. It's going to be a birdie fest. I don't think we'll quite see it into the deep 20s, obviously, because of only a 54-hole tournament. But I would imagine that we're going to see somebody shoot -8 in round one. We're going to see somebody shoot -7, right? We're going to see guys take it pretty deep here, which is good because they didn't get that at the Centurion Club. And I think that for this tour to survive, they need to have some of that birdie excitement, right? So Abe Answer, history here. He's a decent round one scorer. I like him a lot at 9,900, just given the course history. Second guy I really like is Sam Horsfield. I've been all over him, US Open. I've been playing him all spring. The guy's been outstanding tee to green. He can putt. He can make birdies. Really like him here at 9,100. Laurie Cantor, 8,100. I built this core to like get you set up for a 6-man lineup, right? Cantor at 8,100. I think he makes some sense. He's really long off the tee, right? And I think that's an advantage here. It's hard to tell at Pumpkin Ridge, but I think that you can cut some of these corners. You can take out some of these bunkers, and that length from Cantor is going to be useful. He's a decent putter. He can score. Played pretty well at the Centurion Club. I like him a lot. And then finally, like I'm assuming Scott Vincent's going to be 40% owned in round one showdown because the guy's been outstanding all year and he is just too cheap. Way too cheap. I would imagine that both South Africans are going to be, or Vincent and Henny Duplessis are going to be both pretty high owned here. I prefer obviously Vincent just due to the price, but he's a guy that I think if you're building a round one showdown lineup, you just got to eat that chalk. And he's likely going to, it should be a good course fit. The guy's got a ton of game. I like him quite a bit. So LIV showdown, right? We will have content. If DK keeps posting contests, we will have content for you here at DFS Army. I'm sure all the other sites will as well, because again, we like to make money, and that's what we do at DFS Army. 100K last week, guys crushing like 50x ROI last week. It's been a great spring here. I am ready for the John Deere Classic. We're rolling into that. You sign up for a month now, you get the John Deere Classic, you get the Scottish Open, you get the Open Championship. Like, we are rolling. And then you get my tournament, the 3M Open, baby. Let's go. And you get all of that. So that's code UpNorth to get you access to that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a great, let me get back to you can see my full head here. Have a great week. I'll be in the chat. Hit me up if you have any questions at DFSUpNorth. You can find me on Twitter at DFSUpNorth, at DFS Army. Peace. Good luck, everybody.